Hello gorgeous, and welcome to Astro Tea of what's happening celestially for August 2025. So let's go ahead and get into all of the amazing energies that's going to be flowing in. And just so you know, I am Ethereal Mother, your favorite artist, psychic, and astrologer. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you always want to stay up to date on what's going to be coming up. And preparation is the key to all of this chaos, to surviving all of this chaos. So first transit we have is Mars and Libra happening on August 6th and giving the vibes of strategic activism, contracts, justice, and community organization. So Mars is very militant, so it's definitely going to make sure that we are fighting for the causes that is going to encompass equality and balance with that Libra energy in there. Think of like the SAG writer strikes that happened in 2023, and they went back and forth with negotiation. They were very relentless in making sure that every single person experienced the equality that they deserved and was protected as well. And I think in the past, a lot of protests have happened, but there hasn't been anything substantial or concrete like contracts, like real action that can have lasting impacts. It's very much like instant gratification. You know, like if you've ever worked at those places where instead of giving you a raise, they give you a pizza party, that's very that. And it's like, no, baby, I need a raise. This is not enough for me. This pepperoni and cheese pizza, that's not enough for me. Another really great example of like community-based things that we can do, because I think a lot of people kind of feel as though they have to save the world or something like that. Like they have to be Superman, which is very funny because that movie just dropped. And then what is it? Fantastic Four. We don't have to be superhuman, but there's things that we can do on a community level to get organized, to be very strategic, and to be very militant in the sense that we have a goal in mind and we're going to make sure that we execute everything correctly. And Libra energy where there's concrete things in place to where this won't happen again. So I used to live in the Midwest for about 7-ish years, and so there is a group called KC Tenants, and so what they do is that they help fight for affordable housing. And also, if you sign that lease, if my air conditioner goes out, bitch, you better fix my shit like immediately. Especially in the winter months. Good God, it gets cold in the Midwest. It's terrible. -12 degrees. Oof. But anyway, so KC Tenants, there was a situation, and this was a decision that was happening or ongoing, I want to since like 2018, and they've been wanting to move the KC Royal Stadium or the Chiefs Stadium to like the downtown area. There's no room for either one to be moved down, you know, in that area, and they wanted the stadium to stay on the Missouri side, but again, there's no room. So what was going to happen is the state of Missouri on the ballot, what they were trying to do is move one of the stadiums, and over the course of 40 years, everyone's tax-paying money, there was a percentage that was going to come out to pay for the stadium moving, right? And so KC Tenants, what they did is they brought awareness to the fact that that was going to be on the local ballot and that people needed to vote no for this thing. And it's very tricky because the verbiage of these questions on the ballots it's tricky on purpose. And again, it's really amazing for people and groups like KC Tenants to help you understand it, because again, it's supposed to be confusing. Because of everyone's communal effort, they shot that down. So now there's a possibility that the stadium is going to be moved to the Kansas side, and it's, you know, it's like 15 minutes from, you know, where it is located already. I honestly don't know why they're trying to move it so goddamn bad, but they've been debating this for like years. But anyway, the beauty of it is there was awareness there. They took action. With Libra is very, is like marketing. So the way that they put this information out, eye-catching, they knew exactly what needed to be said and how it needed to be said, and they got it done. So now people don't have to worry about this money coming out of their taxpayers' hard-earned tax-paying dollars. Helping that. And the crazy thing, it's like billionaires. It's like, y'all don't have the money to move this goddamn stadium yourself without making people who don't want the stadium to be moved. Anyway, but it's just, I think that's very interesting that that kind of happened. And again, there's everyday resistance that can be done on like a local level. You're not intended to save the world, but I think that considering the stories that I kind of just referenced, hopefully that you can understand how Mars and Libra can really help us to really mobilize in a way that is strategic, can have lasting impressions for equality for as many people as we possibly can. And then also boycotting unethical companies as well. And I thought it was interesting because again, Mars mobilizing, a lot of people started boycotting Target after the whole DEI thing, and they lost well over a few $1 billion. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, to the point where the CEO had to take a pay cut. You know, again, y'all can't be playing in people's faces as if their actions are not important, as if they are not consuming your products. And, you know, you can't treat people like that, basically. And Libra is very much like partnerships. Like, even though there is this hierarchy, even like the CEO down to the employees and stuff like that, the employees are who made you the CEO. You know what I mean? Like, that's who's kind of helping this company evolve. And then you have the consumers that is making sure that everything is moving smoothly. So again, a lot of people have severed Mars, their partnerships, Libra, with people because of their arrogance or because of racism or any of the isms, really. And so again, I think with Mars, it's like a hard line of what people will not tolerate anymore, and you're gonna fucking feel it, and it's gonna be in your pocket. So I think that's very funny that you know, these types of things kind of happen, but it is what it is. And also being very protective of our energy when it comes down to rage baiting and performative activism, understanding what intentional activism looks like, and then also figuring out what to do for sustainable action as well. So there's a lot that kind of comes into play with this transit, but I think that it's going to be really beautiful. Even though Mars and Libra are at two opposite ends of the spectrum, Mars is like, let's go for it. Libra is like, are you sure? Are you positive? I don't know about that. It's like, no, we need to find a happy medium so that we can actually get some things accomplished. And then another thing, if you personally are interested in signing new contracts or getting into a partnership with someone or whatever that might look like, make sure that you slow down, Libra, and read what those contracts are saying. Libra is an air sign, and again, you want to make sure that you are making decisions that is best for you. And it's interesting because Libra can fall into people-pleasing mentalities, but it's like, it's your life at the end of the day, and you have to figure out what you want that to look like. I think Trixie Mattel is a great example for this, because, and she's not the only one, but there was a moment where she was signing a contract with a specific company, I can't remember who, and she was talking about how in the contract there was a portion that said if she were to sign that contract, the company had legal rights over her image and basically her brand and her music and things like that, and it was like, so again, I think Mars can be very protective. You think about, again, a military, you kind of have to have that same energy. Libra can be very passive, but this is not the time to be passive. You have to make sure that you are making decisions to protect yourself, especially when it comes down to contracts on any level. So I think that's very important to note. The last thing about Mars and Libra transit, it's making a grand trine. So meaning that there's several planets in air signs. So we got Mars and Libra, air. And then there's Pluto in Aquarius, and then there's Uranus in Gemini. All of these energies is going to be representing a rise in intellectual protest, so we definitely will see a lot of protests. I am sure about that. And then a lot of legal reform, and also getting down to the basics of what leadership needs to look like for us on a basic level, like I referenced, like the Casey tenets, leaders who have our best interest at heart, who actually want harmony and balance. And again, bringing it back to like community-based things, we do have a full moon in Aquarius happening on August 9th. Again, Aquarius is definitely like community, digital activism, and conscious consumption. And I believe that the full moon is definitely going to shine a light on what we need to do as a community, as a collective, mostly in America, to sever those ties, Mars, with companies that are unethical or don't really give a fuck about you. They just want you to buy their shit, even if it's poor quality. So there's a lot to really think about there. So my thing that I love doing is going to farmers markets and supporting our local farmers and supporting as many like mom and pop companies as I possibly can. And for the most part, the quality of the products is A1, so I have no problem. Like there's been several companies that I have discovered and they have a loyal customer out of me. No complaints whatsoever. Customer service A1, products A1, like love this for me. So, but again, I think that like I said, I think the full moon is going to be shining a light in the darkness, or shining a light on things that are hidden with these corporations, and really getting them to kind of admit their ethical stances, or people might expose their ethical stances, and I think would be very interesting. And then that will kind of put the ball in our court to help us make a decision on what we want to do moving forward. Like for example, ever since the information came out about the DEI with Target, I haven't been back. And it's interesting because there's one Black-owned company, and they sell shea butter. Bought it from Target at one point, and then I also bought it from Amazon, and both of them are on my shit list. So I went to their actual website. Shipping was quick, quality of the products is great. I'm here for it. I love it. Anyway, let me stay focused. But again, I think Aquarius is social media, technology, things like that. So again, more exposure of information through social media. Like for example, it makes me think about people and how old tweets would come up and stuff like that. And people think that sometimes stuff in the past is definitely in the past and that's how they used to be. However, some people, their old tweets, that's still how they currently think, you know, or that's how they actually feel, even if they come up with a bullshit apology. They actually do feel that way deep down inside, but it's the optics, you know. And also there is a lot of chaotic stuff kind of happening in the media. I spoke about this the last Astro Tea, I want to say in July, probably even June as well, is that there's going to be a lot of propaganda and things pushed in the media to emotionally manipulate you into making specific decisions. It could be buying more. It could be picking a specific side to whatever, like a political stance or something like that. Like there's a lot to it. But I think that with this full moon in Aquarius shining a light on what we need to detach from so that we can kind of focus on the situations that matter, you know, including your own mental health, or, you know, getting in touch with your community, you know, community-based outreach programs or something like that. And again, I spoke about this earlier, activism doesn't have to be super big or you saving the world. It could literally be just conscious consumption. Like I said, I don't shop from Target anymore. And there's a lot of other companies that, for example, support Gaza and the horrific things that are happening in Gaza. I don't need those companies anyway. You know what I mean? So that's and it's just little decisions each and every day. Nothing too big, nothing too crazy. But if everyone contributes, it's going to be like Target having $1 billion loss. You know, that's insane, and it hasn't been that long. So I think that's really beautiful. Sucks for them, but really beautiful for us. And again, we also do have Pluto retrograde in Aquarius, but once it goes direct, we're definitely going to see a lot more information around technological revolutions and stuff like that. So we'll definitely see what's going to go. We definitely will see what's going to happen, but I think also be very careful of AI. We might learn some new information about that. We also could, with Aquarius, it's very much like building a digital community, so that's also something too. TikTok is a great example of how very easy it is to do so. So next up we have Mercury Direct in Leo. Mercury giving communication, Leo giving very king-like energy, but the whole theme of this transit is speaking truth with integrity and calling out propaganda, and I think that's very important. Again, I do feel like it has to come from a very charming place, because we can already see that some people in political spaces, if they don't like what you have to say, they will cancel your whole shit. So you definitely have to have a charming thing about that. And again, if you are interested in doing community-based things, maybe appoint someone who is very charismatic and is very charming to say specific things. And I think that's a great, you know your strengths and talk your shit, and let's get it together. And again, of course, like Leo is very evolved Leo energy has no problem sharing the spotlight. So definitely try to pick someone like that, you know. But we also might have a lot more celebrities, Leo, speaking on specific issues, which makes sense. We've had a lot of people speak on what's happening in Gaza. And again, a lot more people. Mercury is very analytical, so really analyzing if people's words are matching their actions. And I think that's so important. Like a lot of people, say hi. all right, can you sit down? And it's interesting, it makes me think about Donald Trump, because he is a Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury, and a lot of people have felt bamboozled by some of the things that he has done and said. But I'm like, if you know that man's history, he's always been fraudulent. Even when he had the show The Apprentice, he didn't have as much money as people thought that he had. He's gone bankrupt multiple times. His companies have gone bankrupt multiple times. He's made terrible business decisions. Like, he's not who people really think that he is. But and again, he's a very charismatic speaker. So people just kind of assume that he's telling the truth for whatever reason. But, and again, Leo loves to perform. They love attention. They can be very great leaders, but there's people who love to perform, love the drama. So there's that. Next up, August 11th, we have Venus conjunct Jupiter. Jupiter and Venus are some of the most benefic planets in our solar system. Jupiter representing abundance, prosperity, wealth, expansion. Venus, money, your talents, and everything like that. So I think that, again, the themes are abundance, love, money, and opportunity. So you might be able to manifest a lot of really beautiful and wealthy partnerships. I think, again, there's a lot of it's unfortunate because there are a lot of people who have money and are very greedy with their money, but there also are a lot of people who would love to give you what you deserve and what you need to, to do whatever you want. So, and it would be a great and ideal time to launch a project, a product, a business, a partnership. But of course, like I said, with the with the Mars in Libra, Libra is ruled by Venus. Make sure that these partnerships have your best interest at heart. Make sure that you are really going over those contracts to help you lay the groundwork for long-term success. This is also the perfect time to look for a new home. Maybe find somewhere that maybe is a bit more spacious if you can, or at least somewhere that can grant you emotional security. And also that can help you experience a lot more luck, a lot more wealth and abundance, a lot more positive opportunities, because it's like if you're living somewhere where you feel safe, you can decorate it how you want, or maybe just redecorating your place that you're currently at to feel a little bit more luxurious and everything. It's like when you're in this very beautiful and relaxed and soft vibration, the way that you are just a magnet to every single thing that you desire. But make sure that your desires are really what you want and need right now, but also kind of consider how it will affect everyone involved as well. And again, Jupiter is very optimistic, and so the beauty of that is going to amplify your request, amplify what you need and desire to the universe. And I believe that everything will move very quickly. I think it will be very shocking, especially if you're like looking for like a very specific home or have that in mind. Also make a mood board. I'm always down for a good mood board. And again, I think this is a great transit for if you're doing a lot of stuff from home. Again, you want to decorate and get everything together to make sure that you are amplifying the energy and the wealth that you want to experience. Next up, we have the Sun entering Virgo on August 22nd. Happy birthday to all my Virgo babies. I love Virgos. I know sometimes they get a lot of heat online, but hey, I love me a Virgo. Let me say I love a evolved Virgo. So just to put it there. But anyway, in my opinion, my predictions, this Virgo season is going to be, it's imperative that you focus on your health, being of service to yourself and others. Be very practical and be very grounded in your self-care routine to make sure that you're very strict with your self-care routine. Again, with everything going on, if you are wanting to do more community-based things, your self-care rituals comes first. So whatever you can do to prioritize your mental, physical, dental, spiritual, spiritual health, whatever you can do to prioritize those things, that's what needs to happen right now. And again, making sure that you are balancing being of service to others, but also being of service to you. It makes me think about how a lot of activists back in the day died of broken hearts because they couldn't like convince people that what they were fighting for was important. And again, like I said before, if you have to convince somebody, move on to the person that's actually waiting to hear what you have to say, and keep it pushing. And just set intentions around that person sharing what you have to say, and then just allowing things to kind of grow organically. Another thing about Virgo season, it kind of makes me think about shout out to iJade over on Twitter. She was talking about how there could be a lot of companies, like say for instance a dentist, right, and them severing their relationship with insurance companies and doing a thing with their clients where it's just like a monthly payment of whatever, so that you know that you always have the care that you need. I think that's a great example of what a lot of places could do, because again, there's so many like predatory organizations. Like insurance is the perfect example, and I think that a lot more people are going to be putting things in place to, or at least this is my hope, and this is, a lot of people have had this prediction. I definitely could see it happening. I haven't seen it happen yet, but like paying an arm and a leg for basic healthcare is insane, especially when there's other countries who have free healthcare. Like you can actually get like an itemized list of where your taxpayers' dollars is coming from. They don't have to, of course, like other countries have their issues, but like in America, like I mentioned the example before with Kansas City and them trying to move the stadium and get people to pay it through their taxes. Like it's annoying. So I don't know what that's gonna look like for everybody, but that's definitely something that I think would be a great idea, to do whatever you can to separate from these larger entities who again are very predatory. Also with Virgo season, your nervous system care is very important. Like I know that a lot of people are very much into manifestation and stuff like that, and even myself, I'm learning that your nervous system can block a lot of your blessings because it's like not sure if you can trust this new situation, this new environment, this new information, because it's a lot going on. It can be very stressful at times. So again, your routines, get into gardening, healthier eating. Not saying that you gotta eat a salad all the time, but there's a lot of things that you can do to eat healthier, just more whole foods. And some of my favorite activities to do to alleviate stress and anxiety is tapping or EFT, which is really great. You have yoga, which is great wellness for everything. It's just great. Good for all. And Pilates, which is like yoga on steroids. Journaling, which I think sometimes people, I know it sounds very redundant, but think about like a pile of junk in your room. Once you kind of get everything organized, it's like, okay, now I know what to do with all this information, with all these things. It's the same thing with journaling. Like, let me just write all these things out. Now I know what's going on up in here mentally, emotionally, and maybe even physically, kind of connecting the dots. Like if you have pain in this specific part of your body, maybe there's a connection to something else, you know what I mean? Or like clenching on the jaw will let you know that, yeah, you are very stressed right now. So, and then of course therapy or getting a life coach, I think will always be something that should be a higher priority on people's list. And Virgo energy is very nosy. It really does pay attention to all the little details of things, really loves to analyze stuff. And like I said before, I think that it's our time to really do our research on companies that deserve our time and attention, and being mindful of trying not to continue investing money in like fast fashion, being mindful of more sustainable purchases, making sustainable purchases, and ethical consumption. I think that again, I feel like at this point we don't really have a choice but to make better decisions, and it's very small. It doesn't have to be anything super crazy. Maybe I shouldn't shop at Shein. Maybe I shouldn't do these things, you know what I mean? But again, being resourceful, going to farmers markets, going to your local grocery stores, going thrifting, like I have a pair of jeans. They're not Levi's jeans, sadly, but they were made in America back in the day, vintage. It's lost a little bit of its color, but it still fits like a fucking glove. I love those jeans. jeans. I will listen. I'm sad for the day that I can't fit them no more, but hey. Also, I spoke about this before in a previous video, I don't remember where, but Virgo represents things that are going on with your intestines, so digestion is very important. Even thinking about how stress can create digestive issues for you. Also intestinal parasites, so please do what you can to eliminate those as well. And if you want me to do like a video on what I do to do cleanses and stuff, please comment down below. The last thing for Virgo season is it's definitely going to be time to do like a deep clean and organize your place, or hire somebody to do it. Some people I think would be very great. And also saying like the affirmation or speaking life over your home by saying that you're making space for wealth and abundance. I think that would be really, really great to just bless your new space, bless how clean it is. You got all this old energy out, anything that could be weighing you down. Again, Virgo is these little tiny things that you might not really acknowledge or pay attention to. Like I said, parasites, and that could be like parasites, or like even a person, a specific thing that could be tethered to some, you know, there's a lot to it, but anyway. And then on August 23rd, we do have a new moon in Virgo. Basically the same sentiments. I think just take a moment to really figure out what you need to do to reset your routine and set some healthier intentions. Do things that are very practical for you, especially when it involves your health and overall wellness as well. And Virgo is very much like, it's an earth sign, so it's like once you kind of create a routine for yourself, you're straight. And it's like these little incremental things add up to, you know, think about if you're learning a new language, each and every day you are becoming more fluent in that language. It's the same thing with your own mental health and being mindful of what you're doing, your skincare routine, your body routine, your spiritual routine, you know, like doing spiritual cleanses. And it's very easy to do one actually. So, and again, I think just being mindful of things that could be causing you stress, doing things to find, and also discovering new hobbies and stuff like that, or different things that you can do to be more grounded, to have more, and to schedule more self-care in your routine. Because sometimes it's like, oh, I don't have time for that, and it's like, no, baby, you actually do. And there's sometimes I skip stuff because I'm just not paying attention, but I'm like, nah, I need to go back and go ahead and do this specific routine to stay consistent, and it always works out in the long run. And again, with the way that the healthcare system and different things in America is slowly deteriorating, doing what you can for your own health right now is the best thing that you can fucking do. And the last transit of August is Venus entering Leo August 25th. So it's so funny because I remember the last time Venus was in Leo, it was retrograde, and there were a lot of celebrities that actually broke up during that time. So that's very funny. But I do believe that this time around it's going to create or have a lot of creative joy, luxury with integrity, and elevating your self-worth. I definitely think that affirmations and stuff like that is really great. And also Leo can be very romantic. So I think that if you are interested in dating, be very flirty and fun. If you're interested in being social and networking, just kind of getting to know people. I said this in a previous video, I don't remember when. It might have, no, it was a pick a card. That's what it was. It's a pick a card, and basically talking about how there are a lot of people who are on pedestals, but I think just kind of taking this like fun, lighthearted transits to just kind of get to know people, to see if they are actually someone that is worth networking with, worth associating yourself with, if there is any potential value in having a connection with that person, place, or thing. So, and again, Venus is all about things that you possess. So talents are something that you possess, and I think that you might, either discover some hidden talents and make them more visible. You might even want to just pursue some passion projects. You don't have to share them with the world if you're not comfortable with that, but if you are, just kind of give it a try. The other thing is, like I said, Venus is definitely like luxury, good quality things. And then you have Leo being royalty, self-love, and the drama. Not saying you have to be dramatic, but I think it's very important, like I referenced earlier, investing your money in things that last, especially when it comes down to fashion or things that you might have around your home. I think, again, in the long run, if you're spending money on cheap shit, it's actually more money later down the line in comparison to buying those expensive pair of jeans things that's gonna last you fucking forever. And of course, I think just kind of spending your money where it should be spent and just taking your time. And again, I completely understand that you have to do what you have to do in a specific situation. Don't get it twisted. But I do think that over time, investing your money in good quality things, also kind of thinking about things around the home, even thinking of like solar panels, I think is going to be very important. Because again, things are just going to shit right now. I think that whatever you can do to invest your money in things that's going to allow you to still live your soft life, to not be stressed about the future. It's kind of like right now, what can I do in the present moment to plan for the chaotic shit that's kind of happening in the world? Buying solar panels, having a garden, or maybe even networking and building a relationship with farmers or something like that. You know what I mean? So there's a lot going on there's a lot that can be done, but I think that's where we are right now. So, and again, also thinking about Leo and how it's king-like energy or queen-like energy. It's like, I don't have to settle for nothing less. And I think that's how we should definitely, really build our confidence around maintaining our integrity in any capacity. Like I said, with the whole boycotting Target or not supporting companies that, one, don't have your best interest, are very predatory and very manipulative. There's a lot of weird things that you have to be so cautious of when associating with specific companies. So just keep that in mind. But I think, again, you can live a luxurious and soft life with whatever budget you're dealing with right now. And trust me, I've done some magical things with a small budget and a big budget too. But now it's like, again, I have so much information and I have so much wisdom, like, bless. That's all I'm gonna say. So before I close out this video, I kind of wanted to speak on a couple of ongoing transits. So right now we have Saturn in Aries, kind of speaking to what I said earlier, with like the disciplined action and making mature decisions, and long-term strategies with buying good quality furniture or clothing, or things that last long, or solar panels, that kind of stuff. And of course, I know everyone is not in a place to buy a home, but there's a lot of stuff that can be done. Even networking and partnering with farms. Like me, I've been talking to my family, and there's people who do the whole co-op thing, or they will partner with someone and they'll buy like half a cow or half a goat and something like that, and get a deep freezer, and they have that meat for like 6 months. You know what I mean? These are the kind of decisions that we're gonna have to make, for long term. And I think Aries is very impulsive, but I think that there's this happy medium between Saturn, like the stern father, and Aries, the toddler. It's like, I want to explore, know more information, learn more new things. Saturn is very traditional, but it's like the tradition that held us down for so long doesn't exist anymore, or it was not built for our best intentions at heart. So now it's like, what can we do to kind of switch things up to make sure that we are secure? My family is secure. My legacy, if you want to say that, or even my damn self is okay. You have to make decisions with the consequences of the future in mind. Saturn is definitely karma. You reap what you sow, that kind of vibe. So you have to be careful. And again, I think that Trump being in office is the perfect example of this. A lot of people made decisions impulsively to vote for him in power, and also made decisions based on racist ideology and the tradition of racism, and the fact that a lot of people have had like this most intense reality check. And I think it's so funny because Saturn is like a brick wall, and you have Aries, the ram, so it's like people like are getting rammed with the harsh realities, Saturn, of the consequences and the decisions that they made voting for someone because of racist ideologies, when it's never been about race. Even back when the KKK was created, it was never about race. It was about power, control, and your tax bracket. And that's what people are kind of slowly but surely kind of understanding. And sometimes it's a bit frustrating, because I know for someone who is a Black women and Black people have been warning about this shit for a very long time. And it's like been getting heat for a while, but it's like this is what we were talking about. And so even I think a great example is like the Latinos for Trump. It's like the way that many of them have been detained and deported is insane. I think it really sucks for the people who did not vote for this shit. But again, people are getting this harsh reality check that it is about the tax bracket and about the color of your motherfucking skin. Actually, not even the color. You have to be a white man to benefit from these things. And I said this in a previous video when I was talking about Neptune and Aries, the propaganda, the illusion of the American dream. There's only specific individuals that benefit from the American dream. And I think, again, Trump is serving a masterclass in what that American dream actually looks like. All of these decisions definitely do have consequences, and I'm hoping that everyone really takes note of what's going on so that you can make better decisions in the future. And it's also, Saturn is also devoted to making sure that you are being more responsible and just better all around, just more well-rounded, if we're being completely honest. The other thing is Uranus and Gemini, which just happened, and then we also have Pluto and Aquarius. A lot of like really explosive and shocking things have happened since Uranus has moved into Gemini, and I think again we're just also in this space where we're going to experience a lot of revolution, rebellion, and disruption of the old world. I think the only good thing about Trump being in office is, first and foremost, a lot of people have been saying, or a lot of news outlets have been saying, that there is a very interesting divide within MAGA. And if there is, you know, because like the Uranus and Gemini and Pluto and Aquarius, those are common themes of like the French Revolution and the Civil War. So I'm like, if there is a civil war that happens with MAGA, I hope that they kill each other off. I hope that we just focus on them. Just y'all focus on each other and get rid of each other. I don't give a fuck. I just think that this is the chaos that they wanted. This is what they voted for. So y'all duke it out. Hey. And I think that everybody else focus on community-based innovation, and we just keep it pushing. Like I said before, networking with farmers. If you want to link up with people and buy and split a cow, you can do that. Definitely harnessing technology, solar panels, things like that. I know AI is not the best. I feel like there has to be a way to make it more ethical. I don't really know. I'm still very new to AI and, you know, the issues that it has on the environment. But what I will say, if you are using AI, at least help it to do your research on how to build sustainable shit, do things to prepare for instability, you know, get it to create ebooks on how to survive in the wild, what berries should I be eating, how to skin a fish, you know, something, I don't know. Just use it for useful information to prepare for the future, because it's going to be, Uranus is going to be in Gemini for a little minute. So we want to make sure that even despite all of this disruption, and you have Pluto, it's going to be deep transformation, we want to make sure that we're prepared in the best way possible. I honestly think that we'll be fine, because again, bringing up the fact of Saturn being traditional things, these traditional things don't benefit us anymore. Even the people who voted for the tradition don't benefit from it either. So it's like we just have to make sure that we are doing what's best for us on an individual level and who's in our little community, you know what I mean? And that is all I have for today. I just want to say thank you for being with me on this beautiful, lovely day whenever you're watching this video. And I hope that all of this information really prepares you for the future and conscious living. This is one of the reasons why I absolutely adore astrology, because it prepares you for what's to come, so that way you're not completely blindsided by whatever. And again, please do not bypass unethical shit for convenience. We don't really live in a space and time where we can, you know, blindly align ourselves with companies that view us as disposable or view us as insignificant, even though you became a billionaire because of the people who buy your products or the people who support you. Don't forget that. We will fuck this whole shit up for you if you're not too careful. So I want more companies to really feel the intensity of fuck around and find out, because we are really hitting their pockets, and that's where they need to be hit. So, and again, a lot of people have been in this space where they think that ignorance is bliss, and it's like ignorance will get you killed. Ignorance will have you voting for somebody you should not be voting for. Actually, that's not ignorance, that's racism, but hey, yeah, same thing really. And I think, again, a lot of people are still in this place where they're very angry, they're not really sure what to do, but I think eventually we'll all come to the same conclusion that we need to make sure that we are making sustainable progress and things that actually equate to long-term success for everybody involved, because at the end of the day, we all we got. We all we got, and I'm cool with that. I don't need these gritty bitches and nothing we got going on, and that is it. So I love you, you are loved, you deserve love, and until next time,